Hello and good morning. Good Monday morning. Welcome to Morning Matrix. And my name is Michele Laine. I am excited to come and have this conversation today as I was feeling into the energies of the day and taking a look at the calendar and noticing the influx of 6 energy. And being a ruling number 6 myself, I actually really enjoy 6 energy days. But I wanted to talk a little bit about navigating the matrix, the challenges, the conditioning of this thing that we call life, and where we can invite ourselves into higher perspective by how the numbers and the influences are always guiding us. We don't have to know all the things about the numbers, but for those of us who've studied them, for those of us who play in that space, it is uncanny and beautiful how the universe guides through so many symbolisms, so many different geometry in our world. And this is one of those places where we can just sit back and listen and be open and curious as to where that might be playing out in our own life. So I'm going to get ready for comments here. And I was thinking of the 6. And the 6 I think of as, you've had these ideas, you've had these thoughts, these impulses, these inspirations to birth into the world. And the 3 really allows us the amplification of planting those seeds. So by the time we get to the 6 of this beautiful 9 cycle of completion, divine timing cycle, you've got the 3 as the seed, the 6 as the sprout, the 9 is the completion, and then beginning again. And all of the numbers in between are always supporting us towards the ending of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. So as we reach the 6, we've got this underlying purpose really pulling us. We've got this feeling of this thing that we're creating. We're watching it come to fruition. We're seeing the results of what we've been thinking and feeling about most. And for some of us, it's really in watching those dreams come to fruition, watching our efforts, our habits, producing results and feedback all around us. And the 6 opens up and says, I'm the revealer of inner truth, right? Underlying that purpose, here's the 6 as that revealer of inner truth. Do you still love what you've been working so hard to create? Or is there room for a pivot or an adjustment? Just because that plant is sprouting doesn't mean we stop watering or nurturing it. Doesn't mean it's good to go. We'll see you when you're completed. It still requires the nurturing. It still requires the care and the love. And so often when we're creating things in our life or in our business or in our health, we start creating default loops, sometimes automated habit that sends us back to something we've done over and over and over again. And it requires us to interrupt, to look at things from a higher perspective, like that 360-degree bird on a perch kind of view, right? Top of the mountain view, where it's so much more of a grander perspective. And we welcome that perspective in, and we really be honest and truthful with ourselves with where we're going. Because if a shift is needed, now is the time to make that shift. So if you've been working out, if you've been building your business, and you can see the fruits of your labor, you can see the transformation beginning, you can see yourself in that place that you were hoping to see yourself, or perhaps that dream is expanding now. The 6 says, be wise to not be stuck in old past patterns, to how the experiences of the past begin to start to dictate your future. Just because it was the past doesn't mean you carry it forward. And so all of these considerations and where you're going, what might want to be switched up? Where can you trust your intuition? Where can you leave room for the evidence that you've been creating to open up and have the universe meet you without the mind having to control the outcome? It's when we get into the expectation of outcome where things start to fall apart. Our manifesting begins to fall back to this back and forth thinking instead of, I can allow this and move forward. And I don't know about you, but it's been one of those places for me where logically I can hear what you're saying and I understand it. Applying it to my life and really noticing and bringing into awareness those places of my mind where I'm really, really wanting to bring something into my reality. And I know that we are creators. I know that we are major and amazing manifestors as humans. We're constantly manifesting what we think and feel about most. Now, whether we like that or not is another conversation. But even in the recognition and the awareness of, if we're not loving it, like fully, blissfully, joyfully loving the path, maybe there's something that can be adjusted in this moment, in this present moment, that brings us to the now, where we can take a look and be honest and say, I need to amplify more of that love for this and keep that vision in my foresight and bring in and allow the resources to reach me, the pivots to happen, follow the energy. Is it dying in a cycle and I'm holding on to it because I said that I would, or that's what I promised somebody in the past, or any of that kind of energy that we aren't obligated to, that we indebt ourselves to, is asking to also be seen and cleared out of the way, to gently be guided in and witnessed, and spend time with yourself, nurture yourself in that moment with whatever you need to shine a light on that. If it's an old pattern that you're willing and ready to let go of, to let that move aside, but also be willing to choose what else that you want. Where do you want it to go next? How do you want to feel? When you're thinking of that future vision and you're integrating those past experiences, that 6 is governing that present moment, bringing you right back to the now. And so right now, from wherever you choose to go from this moment forward, is this still aligned with you? Is there a tweak or an adjustment that can be made? Is there a belief in your body to know that you can have everything that you want? Is there a question in that? Because in that question is the allowance. You are worthy of having all that you desire. You get to decide what all is, but you must be willing to allow yourself to have it. If we don't allow ourselves to have what we desire most, to have the dream, to allow it to come to fruition, then we're not always open to the signals and the energy shifting, moving us in a different direction because we think it has to look a certain way. Our mind was dead set on this is how it looks, this is the pathway, and we miss the opportunity for it to be grander. We miss the opportunity for the next offer or opportunity to come in, where we can look back at the end and think, man, that turned out better than anything that I could have thought of. And so the 6 invites you into looking at those moments in your life where you had a goal, where you had that trajectory in place, where you've planted the seeds and you're watching it come to fruition. And to be open and curious about the feedback that's coming in. It's okay if there's a shift coming. It's okay if all of the signs and the signals are, I'm swimming upstream. I feel like I'm forcing this instead of flowing with it. What wants to flow? You can check in. You can check in with the body. You can bring your mind into your heart. You can check into how committed you truly are. Are you committed because you said you were, or do you still love and get up blissful? I'm so excited every day for this thing that you're creating, whether it's your health, your money, your business, your next offer. The experience that you want, the energy and the frequency behind the experience is the thing that brings it to the cycle of the completion. Otherwise, we stay pending in any of these areas of the divine timing cycle, where it requires us to come back to our responsibility and move into the acceleration, into the activation, the acceleration, and the transmutation. Allow it to complete a cycle. And what we do is we hold on so tight for whatever reasons that we made. The 6 is inviting us to make new meaning today, new meaning towards the integration of that truth in this moment. It doesn't mean all is lost. It could be a very small pivot, but pivot you shall sometimes. And when we fight the resistance of that, we're trying to control it in our mind. And then we get disappointed that the outcome didn't come as fast or as expected. And there's such an opportunity for more possibility, infinite potential and possibility to meet us there. It's in that line of not having to know, getting more familiar with the unknown, but not sitting back and just waiting for the universe to drop everything into our lap. We must be in action. We must be clear in a focused direction, in inspired action. but also be willing to pay attention to what's going on, the feedback that's coming in. How can you move it 1% more to love it, fall in love with it that much more? And this includes the life you're creating. Where can you invite more joy, more abundance, more peace, more love, more excitement? What's needed in this moment as this seed is blossoming? Full focus on that seed, staring at it, waiting for it to grow, or the energy that surrounds it in living your life with joy, excitement, not waiting, not holding back, loving what's here now, what you've created now. Look at the abundance around you. Yes, you may want more. There is nothing wrong with wanting more. You may want to become that better version of you, but you are extraordinary right now. So the 6 is the revealer to your extraordinary. And whatever's rising up that feels like stuckness, that feels like it's in the way, is that invitation to welcome it in. Perhaps recognize an old pattern, an old response in the body. And don't discard it. Be with it, honor it, nurture it. And when ready, move it into what you rather experience, because you're not limited to just that feeling. And that feeling is rising up because it's not needed where you're headed. But brushing it under the rug or trying to bypass it will just bring it back around stronger next time. It's like the universe says, I really need you to see this, because you'll be in that state of freedom and adventure and play even more in the harmony of it when you let go of how tightly you're holding to the resistance and feeling it. Because that resistance is so short-lived. We face it, we feel it, and then we free it, because we're in the awareness that we're no longer needing that protection. We're no longer needing that mind pattern, that body pattern, that response pattern. We have this magnificent ability to choose again and again and again. And if we didn't get it the way we wanted it the first time, we can choose again. And so the 6 says, are you willing to choose again? Are you willing to accept a new reality and integrate a new perspective? Are you open? Can you see it? Could you get curious about looking at it beyond this, to feeling it in your body beyond whatever you have or haven't paid attention to? Can you let it grow and expand in energetic space in your body? Can you pull that excitement into your heart? Can you bring your essence into it just a bit more? Can you let it expand on all sides and up and down through your body? Can you love it that much where you just can't even imagine the goodness that's going to come from it, but you must continue? I know I felt that way in wanting to experience myself beyond the fear, beyond being visible, beyond creating my business. Who could I become next? Not in replacement of, but in expansion of. And the journey becomes more growth, more evolution, more expansion. And the body sometimes needs a minute to catch up to safety. But when the mind and the body are on track together, that coherent state welcomes in even more energy to be received in the frequency of what we're wanting to create. And it amplifies and it ripples out where it's met by the universe, and the manifestation happens. Different, exciting. We think, oh my God, we're the creator of this. And yet we're always creating. You feel some of that clearing. We're always creating. And so if there's a moment where all of a sudden you're not really liking what you've been creating, you get to change it. You get to choose again. You get to shift it. The world doesn't have to change for you to do that. You have the power within you to come inside and make a pivot and fall in love with what you do want more and become the expression of that. The 6 loves to express. The 6 loves family, higher perspective, love, nostalgia, the arrival, the allowance. We get to receive as much as we give. The receiving part for me has been the tricky part. Can I allow it? Do I need to stay busy and do all this busy work, or can I just allow things to start to arrive after I've taken the action? And then where do I get inspired next with what I want to create? So hopefully that helps you today and empowers you to stay with whatever you're growing, building, shifting, changing within you. Whether it be your health, your money, your relationships, you get to become the expression of that. You get to know it's here right now and meet yourself in that now so the reality can begin to unfold. If we never consider the possibility and the infinite potentiality that now is right here and everything we want is here as well, then our mind cannot grasp that it's okay to look for possibility. It's okay to allow what is and feel safe in the body for us to take the next step forward. So I'd love to know how this message lands with you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you are at that place in your life where you're willing and ready to do anything it takes to move beyond this feeling, because you know you have a purpose, you know you're here to contribute in the world, to make it a better place for animals, for people, and you're ready to see yourself in that next beyond, please reach out to me for a dream purpose and activation session. It is a powerful, powerful few hours together where we go in and clear energetic lags, any clutter. We get very clear on where it is you want to go. We create the blueprint. We check in on your birth chart, your patterns currently that can be navigated and leveraged towards what you want more of. You leave this experience not only knowing you more, but really landing into your purpose in a deeper way and having that blueprint to move forward. And I'd love to connect with you on it. I'll put the link in the comments below and invite you to take a look. Might invite you to see if it's a good fit for where you're going next. I know once I had decided to be more visible, to bring my book out into the world, to land into my next phase, into coaching, I didn't know what I didn't know, but I knew wherever I was here was not where I needed to be to get here that I could see myself at. And I just wasn't sure what was the bridge that would connect it until I found that opportunity. So let me answer any questions that you have. Have a beautiful rest of your day. I'll see you guys again tomorrow for our next energetic forecast. And have a great, fantastic Monday. Bye for now.